Woohoo! We are finally on the border. Okay, so we're gonna start with a nice easy row again with chain 1, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Now that's your corner. You're just going to single crochet in every single crochet across for this round. Make sure that when you complete your side or sides, you have 134 stitches per side before moving on. When you get over here, go ahead and slip stitch to your first single crochet and go ahead and cut off because we're going to change colors right away. Okay, I've completed round 58. I have 134 stitches on each side. We are now going to do like an X stitch in our next row. When I created this blanket, I ended up doing the X stitch backwards from the way that you're supposed to do an X stitch. And I liked the way that it turned out, so I'm gonna stick with that. You can reverse it if you want to, but I'm gonna show you what I did and then I'll show you the right way. So we're gonna start with a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna count as a treble crochet. And then working in front of this chain 4, now this is where it's wrong. See, I go to the front, you're supposed to go behind, but I don't know what I was doing. I just went to the front and I liked the way that it looked. So working in front of that chain 4, do another treble crochet. Tripping over words here. Let's see, and then chain 3. So we're putting our X stitch into our corner as part of our corner. So do another treble crochet, and the next treble crochet is gonna, this is where it's a little bit farty over here in the corner. You're gonna go in front of this stitch, but in between the X stitch to the right and this one. See where that's at? Okay. Gets a little fudgy in the corners there, but it's going to actually look like an X stitch once we get a few more on here, just because, and then when we do the next row, it helps to separate everything out. Okay, so we are not going to be putting any chains or anything like that in between our X stitches. We are just going to X stitch all the way across to the next corner. So when we X stitch, we skip the first one and we go into the next one. Treble crochet. Now, like I said, the correct way to do an X stitch is to go behind and grab and do it like so. That's what makes the X stitch. However, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing when I designed the blanket, and I went in front. Now you can choose which way you like and do it however you want. That's my X stitch, okay? So whatever you want to do. I'm going to do it the technically wrong way because I want mine to look like that. But thankfully, this is a fairly forgiving stitch and you're not really ruining anything by doing it how you want to do it. This is going to be treble crochets all the way across. And in your corner, it's going to be X stitch, chain 3, X stitch. And like I showed you before, it's a little fiddly in the corners, but I think you can do it. Okay. So there's my X stitches. X stitch, and when you get to this part where you're going to be joining everything, make sure that you grab the 4th chain of that chain 4 and not your treble crochet here, okay? Because you want this to twist when you connect it, because then it'll create that X stitch. If you grab this one It's just gonna look like that, and it's gonna hide your chain 4, so you're not gonna get the effect of the X. So be real careful when you get to this one and join with that chain 4 or that 4th chain. All right. So this is a pretty simple row. I'm gonna just keep working on this. You keep working on this. We're gonna end up with 69 X stitches, including this one in the corner here, across. Alrighty. I wanted to come and work the corner with you one more time, just so that we make sure we have this down. So your X stitches should take you right up to the very end. So you'll do your treble crochet like normal, and then whether you're going in front or behind, you continue that same, but I always tend to move mine a little bit to the side so I can actually get my stitch in the position that I want it to. Okay, so I've still accomplished the same look, it's just in the corner. And we're going to chain 3 and do that again. Now this is where it gets a little messy, because you have to go in between this and this. So just make sure you're not grabbing onto any of your other stitches when you're pulling back through, because I've done that too. All right, so just make sure that your X stitches both go in there with a chain 3 in between. Okay, I've completed all of my round 59, and I have 69 of these X stitches going across each of my sides. We're going to go back to, well, you choose whatever color you want. I'm going back to a green, and I'm gonna do single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in my corner. Then I am going to chain 1, skip this whole X stitch, in between these X stitches, single crochet, chain 1, skip the X stitch, go in between. Don't go into a particular stitch, just go in between them. Make sure that you leave your chain 1 space, you know, loose enough so that you're not pulling this too tightly as you go along. Okay, that's how that's going to look in between each of the stitches. Go ahead, finish this out, working all the way around, putting single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in each of the corners. You're going to chain 1, skip your X stitch, single crochet in between the X stitches all the way around. Round 60 has been completed. I did join and cut off because we're going to be changing colors again. Before you continue though, make sure that you've got 70 of these single crochets going across each side. Now, I am going to switch over to my dark blue because we're going to be doing those 4 double crochet clusters or bobbles. And I want to have them in a nice contrasting color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is where we're starting. Double crochet in the same space, chain 1, skip 1 single crochet, and do a 4 double crochet bobble into the next chain 1 space. So we're going to be skipping this guy, excuse me, and doing a 4 double crochet bobble here in this chain 1 space. And to do a 4 double crochet bobble, you yarn over, go into the loop or into the space, pull up, and only go through 2. Let me do that again. Go through 2. Do that again. That's number 2. Do that again. That's number 3. Do that again. That's number 4. And then you pull through all and you chain 1. And you continue that going across over to the other side. Now the chain one that we did is not going to count for the next chain one because we need to chain one in between each of these. So the chain one that we did at the end of that is just to finish off that bobble. 2, 3, 4, through all the loops and chain one and chain one. Two, 3, 4. This is the chain one at the end of the bobble. This is the chain one in between. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it seems like there's a lot of space in here. There really isn't. It's going to tighten up when we do the next row. One of the reasons why it's helpful to do the chain actually 2 in between is because it keeps these bobbles from being, you know, squinched on top of each other and possibly doing them too tight. Don't do these chains in between too loose, otherwise you are going to end up with too much material in between. But you should be pretty safe as long as you keep them real normal sized. Chain one, chain one. So basically every single one of these chain one spaces from the row below is going to get you a bobble. Alrighty, round 61 is done, and I have completed with 69 of the 4 double crochet bobbles on the side. And I'm going to join in this row. Round 62 is actually going to line up and be kind of a part of round 64. So there's going to be one more row of color in between 62 and 64, but because 64 coincides and works with 62, I want those same colors to be in the same spots. And I'm planning on finishing up this blanket with black. So I'm only telling you that so that as you're planning your colors going forward, you know what you want to end your blanket with, like what you're going to do the last spiky portion of the edging with, because then you can, you know, coordinate your colors. But this is really, really simple. It's going to be just like this row down here. We're going to be going in between the stitches and not into the clusters themselves or the bobbles themselves. It's going to be a chain one, skip one, single crochet in between, just like we did in between the X's. With the green a couple rows ago. Okay, so this is a super simple round. Starts with the single crochet, chain 3 single crochet in the corner, and then it's chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the spaces in between. All right, I'll meet you back up over here where you're going to change colors again and make sure that you join with your first single crochet. Okay, I have finished round 62, and once again, this is why I use black, is because it makes all the rest of the colors just pop right out. So since I'm, like I said before, edging my blanket completely in black, this next round I'm going to put this green in here to go along with the green here, and so that little bit of color will kind of peek out of there, and just the tiniest little bits when we do the next round. But we're going to start this off with single, chain 3, and single. This is another really, really easy round. Chain 1, skip single crochet, single into the next chain 1 space. Very, 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 very simple. And you should be able to whip this one out pretty quickly. And if you were counting, you should have 72 stitches on round 62. So when you finish round 63, you're only going to have 73 stitches. And we're just counting the single crochets, not the chain one spaces as well. Alrighty. So go ahead, finish up this round, slip stitch to this single crochet here. Go ahead and cut it off, and then go back to whatever your color you're putting in here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing black, and it's a little bit harder to see on the videos, but sticking with the theme of my blanket, I'll just make sure that I zoom in a little bit better and keep it under the light so that you guys can see everything. All right. Okay, starting round 64. Hopefully you've got 73 from round 63. What we're going to do here is, this is not a hard row at all. It's just pretty putsy. So we are going to, in the corner, starting in the corner, we're going to start right away with the pattern that we're going to be doing. So chain one, now single crochet, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 4. Then I want you to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. Oh, actually, no, not from the hook, the second chain overall. So 1, 2, essentially creating a picot. Then I want you to chain 1 and single crochet in the same space. All right, now we are going to do that in every single chain 1 space. And this is where the color here is going to line up with the color here, because here's our chain 1 space. So we are going to single crochet, chain 4, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the second chain overall, not the second chain from the hook, the second chain overall. So actually the third chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch, chain 1, single crochet in that same spot. All right, I want to do a couple of these before I pause and show you the overall effect. All right, in the next chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 4, slip stitch into the second chain, chain 1, single crochet in the same spot. Let's do one more and then we'll take a look at this. Single, chain 4, slip stitch into the second, chain 1, and single. All right. So do you see how that lines up right there? And it just kind of makes it extend up and makes it part of the final spikes going around the outside of the blanket, and then it tucks these guys into that color overall, making it more subtle than what it is right now. It's just going to be this tiny little pop of color inside that black. But like I said, I wanted to edge the blanket in black to make the whole thing just kind of pop color. So that's why I went with putting the color that was going to end with right here. Okay, so go ahead and keep doing that. In your corners, this is where this row is going to be a little different. In your corner, you're not going to do our normal single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. You're going to do this exact same thing. So treat this kind of like it's just a chain 1. So you're going to do the exact same single crochet, chain 4, slip, chain 1, single crochet in that spot. So you're going to end up with a spike on all 4 corners. All right, I am going to come back here and we'll take a look at it when we're all completed. Make sure that you slip stitch with your first single crochet here when you complete this round, and then we'll finish it up and take a look at it together. I hope that you have enjoyed, just in case you don't come back, I hope that you've enjoyed making this blanket with me, and thank you so much for hanging out. Hey there, for those that wanted to come back and see what the edging looks like completed, this is how it looks. Isn't it pretty? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey with this blanket, and if you enjoyed your time with me, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I've got lots more blanket patterns that are going to be coming in the future, and I ask that you share this video with your crocheting friends. Thanks.